true damage, super warping, and pass all in one unit. We have engaged heroes, and the Fel Xenologue is coming hard, and I need to know, have these units convinced you to summon on this banner? Because we have a lot of great stuff coming. We need to just jump right into this, and let's hit this nice dragon here and see what exactly we have in store. It is Nel. We have a blue infantry dragon here. This is a rearmed unit, and we need to look at this weapon. So, obviously we come in here. Spoiler, she survives that. We have Arcane Fel Art, and I think this is interesting. I didn't expect another Arcane Dragon Stone yet, but this is a good one. We have Slaying, Adaptive Damage, if foe initiates combat, or if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25% at the start of combat, grants bonus to units attack speed, defense res equals 25% of foe's attack, and you can really just skip this and consider it 14 to all stats in most cases. And then deals damage equals 15% of unit's attack. True damage is always excellent. And reduces damage from foe's attack by 15% of unit's attack, which is this flat DR based on attack, which is really good. And grants special cooldown charge +1 to unit per attack. So we have times pulsed 4, and grants special cooldown count -1 to unit before unit's first attack during combat. So we have special jumping as well. That is a ton of stuff, an absolute monster load, and all of that is going to mean that you're going to be proccing Dragon's Roar a lot, which is what you want to do. This unit is kind of set up as an Omni tank or a melee frontliner, depending on how you want to use her. But that is, it's best to have your special as many times as possible. That's just the way it goes. So we have Dragon's Roar. Obviously, it's great because you get to pass this out to other dragons. Then we have Protective, and this is for foes within 3 rows and 3 columns centered on unit. Inflicts an Omni -5 on foe and neutralizes foes' bonuses during combat. The visible debuffs get cleansed a lot right now, so that isn't as big of a deal, but the Omni Lull is incredible. We have seen visible buffs come screaming back into the meta, and having lulls pop up is just some way to combat that, including effects like Treachery or Bonus Doubler. So that's really good. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants an Omni +9 to unit and reduces the percentage, and that is 50% piercing, which built in is great. And also, if foe is engaged, or if unit's res is greater than or equal to foe's res +5, you reduce damage from foe's first attack by 15% of foe's attack during combat. That is, again, another layer of flat DR, which is really good. So the thing you want to pay attention to, and this is going to come up a couple times, you don't have to meet the res check if this unit is engaged. And the way this unit is set up as a melee frontliner or an Omni tank, most likely you are going to have this unit engaged. So that is fantastic, the way you are able to get that. And that does include brave attacks, which is good. And also, if foe's attack can trigger foe's special, inflicts guard. We have a lot of null guard, so that is not as good as well, but we have a lot of flat DR, which is fantastic. And last but not least, we have at start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, and if unit support partner is less than 100%, or if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally with HP less than 100%, deals +15 damage when special triggers during combat. So that's an additional layer of true damage, but keep in mind that requires that someone has some sort of damage. Where this could really come into play is if an AoE hits you, which there are quite a lot of AoEs, but this is not something that's going to reliably proc every time. Moving on, we have Edged Scales. Okay, so this is feeling very reminiscent of the Neathogres, and we'll get to that. This is an interesting skill. If foe initiates combat, or if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25% at start of combat, inflicts speed defense res -4 on foe, deals damage equals 15% of foe's attack, reduces damage from foe's first attack by 10, more flat DR, and that includes Braves and increases the speed necessary. And we'll skip this, is Frost built in, which is fantastic. And also, if speed is greater than foe speed, you have no follow-up. So that is a jam-packed B skill specifically targeted at speedy dragons, which honestly have needed something for a while. But again, think about all of the flat DR that this unit is getting, along with the unpierceable DR that you get from Dragon's Roar and anything else you put on this unit. There is a lot to like about this unit as a melee frontliner. I am not sure if this unit hacks it as an Omni tank, and she has all the pieces, but there are enough moving parts here that I really need to see her in action. And keep in mind, Omni tanks right now need so much. We'll get to that in a second. We have Barricade, which is one of the things that Omni tanks need. This is a fantastic C skill. You would rather have it outsourced, but that is really hard right now, because where you would like to have it outsourced is to your mythics, and there aren't enough mythics to put this on that you really want on your team. So this is a fantastic thing to have on your unit. All right, let's talk about the tier list here. And keep in mind, now this is a sampling. This is not all of the rearmed units. I can't fit all of the rearmed and attuned units on here. I'm taking a little bit of a risk here. And the thing is, we haven't seen this unit in action, but that is a ton of DR. And I think because of that, she is going to be fairly influential in a lot of different modes. I don't want to have to go up against this unit. We have talked about how much true damage it takes to overcome tanks right now, and I think she's going to be in that bucket. The thing that gives me pause and may drop her down to tier 1 is I think she is probably going to be an excellent frontliner. I don't know if she's going to be an excellent Omni tank. And the reason is you just have to have so much. On this specific unit, you really want null counter echo, and you want distant counter seal, and so that takes up a lot of her wiggle room. So past that, then you have to have breath of life from somebody, and the myriad other things that help you position yourself and get everything into the right place. So I think this unit is going to be really good. That is my guess. But I wanted to make sure you guys know that I'm not 100% on that, like I am with a couple of these other units we're going to talk about in a second. This one is something that she may drop a little lower. It's possible that she goes a little higher, but I don't think so. I think this is where she's going to land. I like the design of this unit a lot, though, and I like dragons. As a fodder factory, dragons right now have a lot of very unique things, and I think this unit is going to... Barricade and Edge Scales are both excellent skills, and I look forward to seeing how we get to use them. So keep that in mind, though. This is placing her in tier 0 with a question mark. Most of the time, I'm a little more solid on these. Next up, we have Rafal, and this unit has a really neat design. I mean, all of the engaged units, I do like their design. I know a lot of people were down on that. I like this unit a lot. This is a near save, and so we're going to have them in the melee frontliner category. So, okay, let's get to it, because I have some questions here. Fell Slaystone, accelerate special trigger cooldown count -1, so we have slang, effective against cavalry. So this unit is coming for your Sigurds. And then you have adaptive damage, you have an Omni +4 to allies within 3 spaces of unit, and inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on their foes per attack during combat. We just talked about a lot of Null Guard coming around, so that's not as good. And an Omni +4 is not amazing, but it is combined with the Omni +4 to engaged allies within 3 spaces. So that could give you a total of +8 all across the board. That's getting into the point where you start caring. The watermark right now is 14. Like, that's the standard that a weapon gives. So if you want to put it in that perspective, it's half of a preference weapon stats that they're handing out. So anyway, If foe initiates combat or foe's HP is greater than or equal to 75% at start of combat, grants bonus to units. Attack speed, defense res equals number of allies, and there's a big old thing, and then we have 14. See what I mean? So then deals damage equals 20% of units' defense. True damage is very good. Reduces damage from foes' attack by 20% of units' defense. Keep in mind, defense 20% is high. That's very good flat DR there. And inflicts special cooldown charge -1 on foe per attack. So we have the guard, and grants special cooldown count -1 to unit before foe's first attack during combat. And that basically means you're going to be proccing Armored Blaze as much as you possibly can. We then have Attack Defense Scowl, which I didn't realize wasn't in the game. Armored Blaze, of course, and AR Twin and Save. We have seen these a ton. It lets you proc the Armored Blaze effect for two attacks during combat, which is good. But the problem is survival. It's in order to survive right now, you've got to be special like Rhea, or you've got to have Shield Fighter. That's just it. Let's go to the tier list here. And so this unit is already kind of light on things. I do think this is going to be a good unit. I have Rafal in tier 1. I like this unit a lot. The difference between Rafal and Nagi is that Nagi resists AoEs. They both rely on Shield Fighter, but I definitely have Nagi higher. I like Rafal a lot, but I don't know that this unit is really going to make a dent. And everyone is playing second fiddle to Rhea. Rhea is fantastic because she doesn't need Shield Fighter. There is a thought amongst the community that we're about to have more Ira effects that negate Shield Fighter, or rather keep it from proccing. And that is something we're all bracing for. If that is the case, armors in general lose value because Shield Fighter has let you be able to use almost any armor and make them good. If not great, that makes them good. So that is something to keep track of. If that happens, your very specific melee frontliners are going to be good and others not so much. So that is a thing. I don't have the picture up here, but also in tier 0 is Neathogre. The New Year Neathogre is very good, and for some reason I didn't get the graphic up there. But she is definitely sharing tier 0 with Rhea. Next up we have Zelestia, and I always loved the off-center horns. I don't know why. It should like send my OCD just into a craze, but it doesn't. I think it's a neat design. So anyway, you guys aren't here for design advice. Grand Lantern. The reason I want to stop on this, normally I don't spend too much time, but so at start of turn, if unit is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants unit cannot be slowed by terrain, and special cooldown charge +1 per attack during combat. They gave a flying unit a tome that ignores terrain. I don't like this at all. This is, yeah. She's gonna be in the main pool. That's the thing. And attack speed catch 3 and attack speed rain 3 are going to be in just the standard 3-star, 4-star pool. That's what we're going to focus on. That is a great thing. Thank you for that, IS. The tome, we're just going to pass on it right now. Hiya papaya, folks. And we have Yunaka. I love Yunaka. This is fantastic. There's a cosplayer that does a fantastic Yunaka, and I think we're going to see a lot more of her, and I am really happy about that. So, Hidden Blade. This unit has a ton of stuff. We're going to try to break this down. First off, we have Slang. Then we have inflicts speed defense -7, sabotage, and discord on closest foes and any foes within 2 spaces of those foes through their next actions. That paragraph there is okay. That is, I started off with that and I immediately negated this unit and thought, oh God, they didn't do well. Because again, we have so much cleansing right now. And the units that do cleanse like Freyr are everywhere. It's a big thing. And then Micaiah. I mean, Micaiah is everywhere. And there are other ways to do it as well. So that's tough. I will say that, especially if someone's using Micaiah, they only get 2 things cleansed. So you can use this to kind of help overwhelm the enemy. But we started getting some weirdness there, and that's kind of tough. So anyway, moving on. At start of combat, if unit's HP is greater than or equal to 25%, grants bonus to units. Attack speed equals 20% of unit speed at start of combat plus 6. That's very nice. Deals damage equals 20% of unit speed. Also very nice. Let's just say this unit has 60 speed, which is not hard to do. That's 12 extra attack and speed and extra true damage. That's very nice. Grants special cooldown charge +1 per attack, and grants special cooldown count -1 before unit's first attack, and special cooldown -1 to unit before unit's first follow-up attack during combat. Read that as lethality, lots of lethality. So this unit is going to want to proc this a lot. Now lethality, if you remember, it reduces defense and res, and disable, and it has full piercing. So that is a nice thing to have for sure. We have trained to kill first, and I totally missed this first line on my first reading. Unit can move through foes' spaces. This unit has pass, which is significant, and then you start reading more. If any space within 2 spaces of a unit meets any of the following conditions, unit can move to that space or any space within 2 spaces of that space. And also, if unit initiates combat, unit attacks twice. there is an ally. There. That's great. There is Divine Vein effect applied. It is a defensive terrain. It counts as difficult terrain, excluding impassable terrain. So, I mean, just ignore that altogether. I mean, yeah. Unit warps crazy all the time and has Brave. It's not dual phase Brave, so we'd rather it that. But this is still really good. This unit is just going to go crazy. Absolutely crazy. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +10 to unit. Neutralizes. Can we just stop for a second at 10? Like that's neutralizes effects that so we have full no follow-up there, and we have 50% piercing on a unit that is relying on lethality a bunch. There's a little bit of overlap and a little bit of wasted space there, but that's still crazy. If you think about combining this unit with something like Larothar, you really have a ridiculous unit. There are a lot of units that really just, that they basically say screw you to saves, and this unit is going to play really well with them. Let's move on though, because we're not done. Of course we're not done. Full disarm, I mean, you're gonna want potent disarm. That's just all there is to it. Potent disarm is incredible right now. But full disarm is good too. Inflicts speed defense -X on foe. X equals total number of bonuses and total number of penalties, blah, blah, blah. Max of 12. 12. And neutralizes effects that inflict special cooldown. So we have Null Guard. Like I said, tons of Null Guard. And then you have, of course, the disarm trap portion of that and the enhanced magical trap thing that you can do where, yeah, you get them more often, which means most of the time. This is a really good unit, and you can see how many things this unit is going to do well. Active Lookout is next, and I love this family of skills. The only thing I don't like about these skills is they take out 4 spots when you inherit them. But Active Lookout enables Canto 2, which you need. When Canto triggers, enables units to use Distance Swap on ally. This effect is not treated as a skill, blah, blah, blah. If unit initiates combat or is within 2 spaces of an ally, grants attack speed +40 unit during combat. And if unit initiates combat, unit can make a follow-up attack before foe's next attack. So we have built-in desperation as well. I mean, that's really good. I don't have to tell you guys, that's really good. So what do you say about that? This is this is a lot of things. Okay, we've talked about this before. I'm going to show the ranged nuke tier list. The thing that I want you to pay attention to, I try really hard to make these like pure ranged nuke killing power things, and I am failing right now because so much of what makes a good nuke right now is all of the other things. You have to be, well, Lynn. Lynn can be a ballista, gives out desperation and stats and visible stats, and on top of that is an amazing nuke. That's the kind of thing you have to have right now. Lucina, we've talked about Lucina. This unit though, because she has pass, is why I have her in tier 0 on top of getting brave and hitting hard. And I'm just right out of the box, I'm assuming that you get rid of full disarm and get potent disarm. I know that's expensive, but if you're a Yunaka fan, that's just what you're looking for. And that's going to be 5 hits that this unit lays on the opponent. That is incredible. She's just going to be nuts. That's all there is to it. I really like this unit. It is possible that I'm a little bit high on her, but she's going to be tier 0. Like that's just the way it is. That may be swapped. And usually what happens is it depends on what you need in that particular mode or on that particular day. There are units that, move around and can change positions there. So I keep that in mind, but she's in tier 0. This is a very, very good unit. The other thing I want you to really pay attention to is how quickly the nukes fall off. Like tier 0 to tier 1, a lot of that has to do, there's hitting power and there's also the extra things. Like Layla, if you look at the extra things, is probably higher than tier 1, but doesn't hit quite as hard as the others. So that's where she's sitting right now. Shez does not have a lot of extras, but also, brave and has effective against everyone. From tier 1 to tier 2 is a huge drop. Just a plummet, and that is kind of what is going on in the state of ranged nukes right now. We hit the power spike, and there is a before and after, and this is the shield fighter power spike that happened, and in order to really combat that, you have to be able to hit 4 times or be very special to be anything above tier 2. So that is really what we're looking at right there. Keep that in mind. It is very, very hard to be a ranged nuke right now. And although this looks like an even spread, if you looked at the entire pyramid, it definitely has a peak there. And these tier 0, tier 1 units are there. They're very, very good. But yes, excellent unit. Yunaka is amazing, and she has a cat for her little aid. And I have to get the unit just for the cat, but also it's Yunaka, so I have to get the unit. So I will be summoning her as out of favoritism, but I'll be very happy that she's also a fantastic unit. Right now, Binding Worlds is going on, and if you haven't checked out my best Forma guide, you should definitely go do that. I had a lot of fun making that, and hopefully it helps you pick whatever craziness you want to use your otherworldly bond on. Members, you are amazing. Thank you for all that you do. Take care and schedule an appointment with your FEHologist real soon.